So, hello everyone again. First of all, I want to thank all the organizers and the staff that helped us with this technical issue. And I want to thank everyone who is here to hear a little bit more about Swift charts with us. Our talk is Swift charts beyond the basics. I am Cecilia. I've been working as an iOS developer, and so far I have worked in a health tech company, and currently I've been developing features on a bank app in Brazil.
So I'm Erick. I've been working with iOS since over 5 years, and now I'm working in a large streaming app in Brazil.
This is the table of contents with the topics we're gonna tackle in this presentation. This first topic is about what is Swift charts. The second one brings the technical requirements to use this framework. The third topic brings the definition of data visualization for us to understand how to make the most out of Swift charts. The fourth topic, we will talk about the type of graphs that Swift chart supports. Spoiler alert, it doesn't support all of the charts that exist in the world, and we'll see which one it does. And then we will explore deeper some of the interesting things this framework provides. On the sixth topic, we'll make a comparison between, no. It's locked, sorry.
Okay.
Well, getting back to where I was, I don't know exactly where, but let's try to keep going. On the fifth one, we will explore deeper some of the interesting things the framework provides. Then we'll make a comparison between what is like to code before the advent of Swift charts and how it is now with the code refactored with the new framework. Then we will share our impressions regarding to what were wins, challenges, and limitations we bumped into while doing this research, and for last, some curiosities.
Well, what is Swift charts? It's a flexible framework that helps you create charts entirely in SwiftUI. These are the technical requirements, so you need macOS 12 or greater, Xcode 14 or greater, and all the OS launched this year of 2022.
Now I'm going to be a little bit more theoretical about data visualization. First, I'm going to bring the definition, that is translating information into a visual context. And the purpose of doing this is to make data easier for the human brain to understand and pull insights from. We like this quote from Ben Schneiderman, which says, "Visualization gives you answers to questions you didn't know you had." And since the idea of using charts is making information easy to see, we've got to have in mind that our decision on which graph type to choose is based on the nature of the data and the audience that we are talking to. This quote is from Stephanie Evergreen. So, every piece of information you share through a chart has to be well thought if the type of graph that was chosen is the best fit to display what you intended to communicate. Here we have in the slides some of the most common types of graphs and charts. The first one is bar chart. With horizontal or vertical bars, you can identify visually which is the biggest bar. It is generally used to compare values. And the second one is line charts. It is for continuous data or data with infinite values. They use this to show progress over time. There's the area graph that it is like the line graph, but you can represent volume there. So with color, you can do that, and it is used to compare values over time and highlight the magnitude about the change. Then on the bottom, there is a scatter plot that shows relationship between two items based on two different variables. In some cases, a trend line is added, and it's best used to show two variables of data that complement each other. At the bottom, we have pie chart. It is a pie that the total sum of all parts should be equal to 100%. It's best used to illustrate part-to-whole comparisons, identify the smallest and largest items within a data set. I will keep bringing you more charts, because why not, right? A pictograph, it's the one that it's used usually to represent data with icons, and they usually share survey results or show progress or a goal or a project. Then there's column chart that is similar to the vertical bar chart, but it's ideal to represent chronological data. It's recommended to use to showcase large difference in your data values. Then there's bubble chart that is similar to scatter plot, but a little more complex, with one or two visual elements that are dot size and color to represent a third or fourth numerical variable. The best way of using it is to show relationship between 3 or more numeric variables. Then there is this one that is called gauge. How do you call it?
Gauge.
Gauge. I always get that wrong. This is gauge chart that shows if whether data values fit on a scale of acceptable or unacceptable. It is used to share usually target metrics and display the percentage of the target goal achieved in a period. Then the last one is the stacked Venn. It is used to showcase overlapping relationships between multiple data sets. The best use is to emphasize growth within an organization or business, narrow down a broad topic.
So let's talk about charts supported by subcharts. First of all, we use these double values and date values for our next examples. And now we have the data set that we have the month and the amount of steps that some people walked. So the type is the bar mark. That represents bars in a view.
This other one is point mark. As you can see, it plots dots on the view.
This is the arrow mark, and that highlights the volume of data.
This next one is rectangle mark, and it gives you the possibility to show your data with rectangles on the view. The next charts we are sharing with you, they have some peculiarities.
Well, to make a line mark, we need at least 2 points to connect them, and after we can plot a line graph.
This is LineMark and is a constant that represents data using a single horizontal or vertical rule, and it's used to compare values over a range with a constant value. Like the LineMark is a constant, and you would use it on top of another graphic to showcase the difference.
So it's time to go beyond. So let's do something else. Let's start doing a simple thing. Change the bar chart color. So to do it, we go use the foreground style modifier. In the example, we changed the default color blue to green, but we can also use opacity or gradient colors to customize the chart.
Or we can change the side of the y-axis label using the chart y-axis modifier, passing leading in the parameter position of axis marks.
In this example, the y scale is automatically inferior to be 0 to 300. But if we want to do it reaching 500, the solution of it is to use the chart y scale, passing the range in the domain parameter.
As you can see, our x-axis label is now displaying the first 3 letters of the month's name. So there's September, October, November, December, but you're seeing just these 3 letters. What if you want to display only the first letter of each month's name? So to do that, and what if we want to center, because there it was a little bit to the side. And if we want to center, in this case we use a chart x-axis modifier with the narrow type format parameter and pass the Boolean value as true in the centered parameter to change it.
And one of the most powerful features of switch charts is the possibility to combine multiple marks to create a custom chart, like bar mark with rule mark.
Or combine point mark with line mark. In this case, it's called scatter plot.
You just saw us combine different type of charts to create a new one. But switch charts gives you the possibility to combine distinct data sets into one graph. In this example, we use bar mark, combining what would be the amount of steps that Erick walked and the amount of steps that Cecilia walked.
The last example was with a bar chart, but you can use other types of graphs to showcase it, and that's why we plotted on area mark.
Here we have one more interesting example that you can accomplish. We'll show you how you, developer, can interact with it in order to give a better experience to the user. We can use direct gestures to go from bar to bar and see its values.
And we can use the same idea on the Apple Watch, but in this case, the user interacts with the chart through scrolling the digital crown. We are taking the array of steps and going from item to item, since it is steps counts -1. and going from the most recent dates to older dates. So it's showing us the last 7 days a person walked, the amount of steps.
And we can use two charts in complications using widget kits. So it will be like this image. And no, thank you. Here we will compare the old style and versus the new style. So in the past, geometry reader is the most popular way to create charts. But look how extensive it's to consuming it. You need to create a VStack, calculate the rectangle frame, and add the text color and size of the text. So we did all these things to create just the bar and the label. Using Swift charts, we can use less code, and we can do it automatically for us.
Well, here we have some wins, challenges, and limitations that we found during this research. As for the wins, we noticed that with the declarative syntax, it is switchable between the chart types. Another win is that charts makes plotting charts easier, and you can use less lines of code to do it. It is simpler to handle and faster to implement. As a future challenge, we see the need of supporting all types of the most widely used charts, such as pie chart, Venn diagram, bubble chart, and pictograph. And the limitation this framework has is that it's only available for the OS launched this year of 2000 to 2022, and you can only use with SwiftUI. So if your project is written in UIKit, you will have to import SwiftUI and adapt it to use it.
Well, our time is almost over, and probably you are hungry. So we'll share with you some curiosities that we found while developing and research. Mark is a graphical element that represents data. We can use Swift charts in Swift playgrounds, even in Mac or iPad. It's possible to use more than one chart in the same view. Thus, you create another type of chart, like scatter plot or heat map. And we can use in widgets. And talking about widgets, we can use in complications, home screen, live activities, being dynamic island or lock screen, and below the time in the lock screen.
Well, was our talk. Thank you for your time. We are open to questions, suggestions, and soon we will upload this code to GitHub. Here is our social media in case you want to connect with us. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you for the talk. So we have a pretty interesting question from Gio that says, does Swift Charts supports voiceover accessibility automatically? And since they can get very heavy data, do you have any tips to make it accessible?
Yes, it's accessible, and you need just use the label to do it. So you can use, I don't remember now, but it's possible and it's very easy to do it.
Okay, cool. We have an anonymous question saying, what are some of the best third-party frameworks that can help us when we want to achieve something that we can't with native Swift charts?
One of we used was chart, so we can provide some like very como falo parecido,
Similar.
very similar that Swift charts.
Okay. Is it possible to have custom animations with charts?
Maybe yes. We need to
To
check
check
it.
it for you and bring this answer.
Okay. And the last question, is there any helper library for data manipulation you prefer, as in putting the data together in the format needed for the chat to be rendered?
We've dealt with HealthKit to do it, so the data was pretty much already exactly in the format that we needed. So we didn't have the need in practice to use some tool to do that.
Okay. Thank you, guys.